Notice of Political Status and Situation Report. October 1, 2019 by Anna von Reitz. Notice of Political Status and Situation Report 1st of October 2019 Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo 2201 C Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. 20520. Secretary of Defense, Dr. Mark T. Esper 1000 Defense, Pentagon, Washington, D.C. 20301-1000. Dear Sirs, this letter brings to your urgent attention the fact that literally millions of American civilians have been misidentified by your respective offices. The content of this letter is being broadcast to approximately 65 million witnesses worldwide, so there is no purpose in claiming that you never received this information. Notice to agents is notice to principals, notice to principals is notice to agents. Millions of Americans have been falsely presumed to be some species of federal United States citizen engaged in a commercial mercenary conflict on our shores, when in fact they are non-combatant third parties and are actually your employers. They are state citizen parties to all three federal constitutions and are owed your good faith service and every jot of every constitutional guarantee. These people have suffered mechanized and institutionalized identity theft and genocide on paper while your predecessors partied it up in Washington, D.C., and racked up odious debt against our purloined credit. We are putting a stop to it, gentlemen, and you are going to help us put a stop to it. Millions of American civilians have been deprived of their property rights using deliberately constructed fraud schemes administered through the United States Patent and Trademark Office, the Social Security Administration, the Office of the Secretary of State, the Office of the Secretary of Defense, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the Office of the Secretary of the United States Treasury, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the Banking and Securities Commissions, States of States franchise organizations, bureaus of vital statistics, the unauthorized Department of Justice, and associated organizations. This is the single greatest crime against a civilian population in world history, and it has all come to a head on your watch. My husband and I have notified you and your predecessors 8 times in 20 years that we are American state nationals who may at our discretion act as American state citizens, non-combatant civilians native to the states of this country. Both definitions, American state national and American state citizen, are recognized in your own federal code at 8 U.S.C. 1101, a 21 and 8 U.S.C. 1101, a 22. Amazingly, it appears that your offices have lost our prior notices, again, and neither one of you know a thing about what we are telling you. So we shall be sending you another set of wet ink notices of political status signed under penalty of perjury for Anna Maria Riesinger and all variations, permutations, abbreviations and punctuations of that name, and for James Clinton Belcher and all variations, permutations, abbreviations, and punctuations of that name via registered mail, and we shall be standing ready to produce our mailing receipts and records detailing the same correspondence going back to 1998 plus additional evidence of the fraud against us. Only this time, we are instituting a new system of publication for such notices so that they are published in public and available for anyone, including your offices, at any time. It has proven to be too convenient for your offices to lose or misplace our notices and other records, so we are forming a permanent international land recording office for these notices of political status and other documents. These new international land recording offices will function in tandem with our state assemblies and will be held under the authority and jurisdiction of the United States of America, our unincorporated federation of states formed September 9, 1776. A new alphanumeric ID system will also be put in place. Each eligible American civilian will be issued an independent identifier, instead of Social Security numbers and other identifiers which have been used as part of the fraud against us. These new designated Unique Living Being (ULB) identifiers will be the private property of the people using them and will have both public and private interfaces. These will be used to identify the political status of the users and other basic information about them, and will in turn be used by them to identify their private property. This will enable all members of the military and foreign privatized law enforcement agents and foreign court administrators to recognize American civilians and their private property at a glance, so that they can easily avoid trespassing upon us and avoid making inappropriate presumptions and assumptions about our political status, about our rights and about any obligation or lack of obligation of juridical persons attached to our names for administrative purposes in foreign jurisdictions. You are to assume from this moment onward that you are surrounded by approximately 200 million American civilians who have been the victims of organized crime perpetuated against them by their own employees, foreign subcontractors acting in gross breach of trust. You are to assume from this moment onward that your duty, your only actual duty, is to protect and defend these abused Americans, and from now on competently administer the trust which these people have placed in you. Corroborating correspondence to follow shortly. Any and all claims against our public insurance for bankrupt corporations chartered for us are to be refused and referred to former Prince Philip and Pope Francis. Sincerely, Justice Anna Maria Riesinger, C.O. Box 520994, Big Lake, Alaska 99652.